Hello, welcome to the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. We are so happy to bring you this program. Been doing it for a number of years. SCLC today. Welcome. We are so happy to have you to deal with the realization of what many times people don't get the information on. But I just sit here sadly and think about the 1965 Voter Rights Act. And the 1965 Voter Rights Act was gutted almost 11 years ago, June the 25th, 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, that took all of our rights away. And it was done upon some people who've been working on this for many of years, I would say. Mr. Edward Bloom, out of Austin, Texas, and his conservative right wing have been working to actually rescind all of the accomplishments that we have made as African Americans and people of color and women in the women movement. This is a slap in the face not only to people of color, but all women in terms of affirmative action. And you're talking about 59 years, August the 6th, we're talking about the 1965 Voter Rights Act. August the 6th, the signing of the 1965 Voter Rights Act. And talking to Senator Hank Sanders just a few days ago, we're going to commemorate the anniversary of the 1965 Voter Rights Act in Selma, as well as Montgomery. But you'll get more details on that about the August 6th commemoration of the signing of the 1965 Voter Rights Act. What I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that it has to be a coming of the meeting of the minds in terms of ethnicity and background. You know, we hear about the war that's going on in the Middle East with Israel, as well as the Palestinians. You hear about many other wars throughout the Ukraine and Russia war that is taking place, other wars in Africa that you don't hear about. And there are wars all over the world that's taking place now. And many we don't even know about or we don't hear about. And we have lost many of grounds on affirmative action. It has been under attack. And you're talking about the transatlantic African slave trade over 400 years ago. You know, we have worked for nothing in this country and around the world. You know, it's not just an America problem, it's a global problem. But America takes the lead. In America, we must show the humanity side of what the rest of the world should be imitating from the imagery of what we've been through. You've had the Holocaust, you have the transatlantic African slave trade. Why we can't come together? Why there's a group of other ethnicity or people who trying to slap the transatlantic African slave trade that took place in this country over 400 years ago? Why are you trying to historically deny that it happened? We're talking about an economic phase within our society. You know, Dr. King said there's America and then there's the other America. That's what I'm talking about, America and the other America. I'm talking about both. Why we can't have the support that people of prosperity, the rich folks, basically are dealing in a situation that is different than capitalism. We deal on a daily basis of the capitalistic war that we have between one another, regardless of who we are. That's in the other America. But you have a coming together in America among the rich, the famous, and those whose wealth was arrived and was dependent upon slavery. Regardless of what you say, people with wealth came about the accomplishment of their success because of the transatlantic African slave trade. And it was passed on from generation to generation. Affirmative action is no longer within our society. You have people with wealth who support it through their businesses, the affirmative action programs within America, and trying to bring about a leveraging of balancing the discriminatory practices that for many years that left out so many of people of color. The economic deprivation that we have, you know, too big to fail and too big to go to jail. You know, those are the folks with the money who committed the acts of criminal acts of being in control of the illegalization of gaining their money and the interest that of the economic base that they have arrived and become wealthy on. Oh, by the way, did you know there are 141 more billionaires in the last year that has accomplished the wealth advantage? The wealth gap is so big between the small business entrepreneurs that is not in position to negotiate or to go to the banking system to talk about a loan or an advancement for their businesses. Small business owners. But the mega business companies work in a collaboration together, where if one seems to be falling, they have the resources to support and subside the fact that they are collaborating to save each other. Yeah, it's a smaller group, but they work together to keep the rest of us in terms of the competitiveness of capitalistic societies and concerns and interests, where we fight every day to get an advantage upon each other. Ladies and gentlemen, something is wrong with that. The level of competition is one-sided. We in the poor and the poor, it's a difference being poor and being poor. I asked a question on Auburn Avenue several years ago. We have poor people, and I kept talking about it in my speech. And then one young man came up to me who was homeless, said, Steele, I'm trying to get to be poor. I said, well, what are you talking about? He said, I'm poor. I have 1 O. I'm trying to get 2 O's. If I can get 2 O's and being poor, I think I can make it partially to get out of the situation that I'm in. I just need a chance. But right now, I'm poor and I'm not poor. So ladies and gentlemen, we must help each other, regardless of the ethnicity or the race. The race we have is the human race. We only have one race. That's the human race. And we have to look out for each other. And America is too rich not to participate and be concerned about the rest of us. And we have to bring about those concerns. Power has never voluntarily given itself up to help the poor. We must demand the rights that the power to be and the power that is do what it's supposed to do to lift all Americans up. Because Dr. King said in his own words, there should be no poverty within America. We all should have a quality of life that not only the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, is demanding that we help the poor, but we must help each other, because that's what the love in the human spirit of all of us that we have. And you have it, you just have to dig deep for it many times something that's evil or ill to the spirit of doing what is right get in our way. But you have to call on the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, and we can eradicate all of the problems that we are confronted with today. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Dear friends and supporters, I am delighted to extend a heartfelt invitation for you to attend the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC 65th Annual Convention, which will take place on August 9th and 10th at the Doubletree by Hilton Atlanta Airport Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia. This year's convention centered around the theme of education, economics, and gun reform. Requirements for a better community holds immense significance in our ongoing pursuit of justice and equality. Your presence at this convention is critical as we come together to address pressing issues impacting our communities, from bridging educational disparities to fostering economic empowerment and advocating for sensitive gun reform, and discussions will pave the way for tangible solutions and positive change. I urge you to join our president, Dr. Charles Steele Jr., and myself in Atlanta for a weekend of insightful dialogue, collaboration, and empowerment. Together, let's reaffirm our commitment to building a more just and equitable society for all.